first, coming into Tuesday night's game, Kevin Durant had 7 straight games, scoring 30 or more points, including a game with a career high of 54 against Golden State. Trailblazers aware of that fact, but still could not handle KD. He scored 46 points in the Thunder's 105-97 win. His 8th straight game, 30-plus points. Listen to those stats, Mr. Bayless. Impressed with KD?
Stephen A. Smith, let us first remember and put back into perspective that Portland was playing back-to-back on the road. Portland was playing its 4th game in 5 nights, all on the road. Now, to answer Carrie's question, I was actually more intrigued by what I saw from Kevin Durant in the 4th quarter last night than I was impressed. And I did watch every dribble of this basketball game in Oklahoma City. Now, Kevin Durant obviously owed his team more than the 1 point that he had scored against Portland. Remember the New Year's Eve game? Last time Portland visited Oklahoma City, Kevin scored 1 point in the 4th quarter as Portland won the 4th quarter 27-16 and overcame a 16-point deficit in Oklahoma City. This is all without Russell Westbrook. Last night, things were again not going very well for the home team deep into the 4th quarter. At that point, Kevin Durant had only 3 points in the 4th quarter, and Oklahoma City trailed by 5 after back-to-back turnovers by Kevin Durant, and he thought he had gotten bogus calls, and a bad charging call on the second one. Can we see those plays quickly?
Sure.
First one, Kevin Durant gets the ball swiped from behind, and he thought he was fouled. And I think he probably has a case there. Then on the second one, on kind of a semi-fast break, he thought it was a block instead of a charge. He did not get the call, and he was, Stephen A. Smith, furious about both calls back-to-back. Now, this is about 3 minutes left in the game. He goes to the scorer's table, hammers the scorer's table, utters a very loud expletive for which he apologized after the game. He got mad, and he got a technical foul. Well, the takeaway for me was he finally got mad. We saw that guy that got advertised last year as the not nice Kevin Durant, and he proceeded to take it out on the visitors. Kevin Durant went off as Portland went ice cold, and Oklahoma City finishes the game on a 15-4 run as Kevin Durant scores 11 of the last 15, including 3 unconscious, as you say, pull up from 30 kind of threes. And it reminded me, Stephen A. Smith, of LeBron James back in his Cleveland days. Remember when occasionally some idiot on the front row, especially on an away game, would start to heckle LeBron James, and he would get mad and take it out on the opposition. I would come in the next day and say, hey, I like that guy. I like LeBron playing mad. I loved Kevin Durant playing mad last night. I don't see that very often, so I would hope in the future he could reach down and push that button in himself a little more often.
If this were Christmas time, you'd be the Grinch. And the reason why I say that is because with all of the stuff that this man is doing, here you are nitpicking. Here's the big picture.
I think I just truth told.
No, you did it. And don't interrupt me again because you know I'm sick and my voice is challenged, so don't bother me.
Good. I got a chance today.
Yeah, you do have a chance. Here's the deal. Over the last 3 games, Kevin Durant is averaging 43. He scored 130 points in the last 3 games on 67.6% shooting. He has scored plus 30 over the last 8 games. You listen to Wes Matthews. You listen to Coach Terry Stotts, who's doing an outstanding job, by the way. Congratulations on that, Coach. You look at the Damian Lillards of the world. You look at LaMarcus Aldridge and the things that they had to say. They talk about shooting in the ocean, and they spew helplessness, because what they were acknowledging is what I have been telling you. He's 6'10". Don't give me no 6'9". The man is 6'10". He's got a 7'6" wingspan. He can pull up from 30. He has a mid-range game. He can shoot off the dribble. He can spot up. He can go to the hole. He can be ambidextrous using both his left or his right hand. This dude has the opportunity and the chance, if he wants to, Skip, to eclipse the great legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the greatest scorer in NBA history. He is simply that automatic. This is a guy that during the NBA Finals, an off NBA Finals by our standards, based on what we expected from him, averaged 30 on better than 50% shooting. That's an off NBA Finals for Kevin Durant. This dude right now as far as I'm concerned, is the clear-cut favorite for league MVP honors. If the MVP vote was today, he'd be first, he'd win it, and it wouldn't even be a close second. LeBron would be in the conversation. LaMarcus Aldridge for Portland would be in the conversation. Chris Paul, CP3, had he not gotten hurt, would have been in the conversation. But Kevin
Please
Durant,
put Paul George in that conversation.
yes, I would. Absolutely. Paul George has been nothing short of sensational, and he would be in the conversation as well. But Kevin Durant is just on another level. I'm just talking about the package. When we're sitting here and you're talking and you're nitpicking, you're not wrong per se, because you've pointed that out in the past in terms of LeBron getting angry or getting that little extra something inside of himself. I think losing to Dallas in the NBA Finals did that for him more than the critics, more than anybody insulting him or whatever. When you lost to Dallas, that's what really propelled LeBron to another level. Kevin Durant lost in the NBA Finals to a LeBron. Last year, he didn't show up like he was supposed to against Memphis in the playoffs. And I think as a result of that reality, Kevin Durant is on a mission. And what he is doing is showing you what he's capable of. It is that simple. I'm looking at this guy, the package that he is, and I see an offensive arsenal, the likes of which I don't know if I've seen for some times. If he's Michael, you look at Michael Jordan, who's the greatest in our eyes. He's got a 4 to 5 inch height advantage on Michael Jordan.
Sure.
You look at Pippen. Pippen couldn't handle or shoot the way this guy can. You look at a Bird, he didn't have his athleticism. You look at a Magic, he didn't have his shot. You look at a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Wilt Chamberlain, excuse me, you look at those two guys. They were big men who needed the ball. They can't handle the ball 94 feet. Kevin Durant has the skills to play the 1, the 2, the 3, or the 4 position on the floor, and he is putting it on display. And just like last week when we talked about Peyton Manning and Tom Brady going against each other, and we stopped and paused for a second, initiated by you, acknowledging that there is greatness that's taking place, and we're very blessed and fortunate to see what we're seeing. I'm telling you that what Kevin Durant is doing right now, what I saw him do the other night against Golden State, what I saw him do last night, there are certain moments, just moments, that you just step back and pause and acknowledge a level of appreciation for greatness taking place before your very eyes. Because this stuff is God-given, my man. You can't teach the things that Kevin Durant does on the floor.
Let's go back in time, pre-you on this show.
Pre-me?
Yes. Kevin Durant's 1 year at the University of Texas. I raved and raved about him on this show, starting with the Monday after the coaches against cancer games at Madison Square Garden on a weekend early in the college season.
Right.
I said he would win multiple NBA scoring titles. Some people laughed at me. Right now, if I wanted to pick one player to win the scoring title every year, as I've said before, Kevin would be my first, second, and third choice, much over LeBron James. Carmelo, maybe he would be 2 on my list. But I agree with everything you said about skill level. My only issue with Kevin has been fourth quarter intangibles, which is why he doesn't yet belong in the same sentence with Bird and Magic Johnson. Obviously, you're just doing skills, comparing skills. But on fourth quarter intangibles, what happened last night, again, made it a further indictment of Kevin Durant. What he did not do for 4 straight games last playoffs against Memphis, the same Memphis that was about to be swept by the Spurs, without Russell Westbrook. And I'm going to throw out the stat one more time. 4 straight losses to Memphis. With 5 minutes to go in those 4 games, these are called late and close situations, with the game within 6 points, Kevin Durant was 3 for 17 in the combined 4 games. 3 for 17, 0 for 3 from 3. He made 3 in the last couple of minutes last night, 0 for 3 from 3, and 2 for 5 from what he owns, the free throw line, where he's a 90% free throw shooter. I don't get it. How do you explain what happened?
I can't explain it. First of all, you fall before you rise sometimes. Everybody can't be Magic Johnson where you come into the league as a rookie and you win an NBA championship. Everybody doesn't.
Or Bird.
Everybody. Well, again, Bird came into the league as well, but you know what? Magic came in as a rookie. He ran in, the Philadelphia 76ers. If you remember, Kareem got hurt.
Oh, I know.
Magic
He played
had to
center.
play that game 6. He played center.
Yeah.
A lot of the dominoes fell in his favor. But the point that I'm trying to make to you, Skip, is that there's a couple of things that you have to take into consideration. Number one, Kevin Durant, what kind of situation he inherited. When you ultimately get, you arrive in Seattle, it's a team that's going to struggle. They're on the come up or whatever. And then you ultimately acquire Russell Westbrook and y'all move to Oklahoma City. Russell Westbrook, you recognize the mercurial talent that he is, but also, you know, he's a temperamental star in terms of what he does on the court. And you've got to police that to some degree. And you got to facilitate getting the most out of him. You've got the Serge Ibakas of the world. You've got a James Harden who was on the squad, and y'all are bosom buddies, and the trio, you, him, and Westbrook, y'all are mingling with one another. You're chilling, you're having a ball, and then Harden is gone. You got to make adjustments on that level. Then Russell Westbrook goes down, he gets hurt, and all of a sudden you're being asked to be something that you've never been required to be. Because even when you were at Texas and you were a scoring machine and you were an All-American, you were still a freshman. And there were guys that had been there longer than you that you obviously have to acquiesce to some degree. Sometimes that's incredibly challenging. So when you look at it from that standpoint, that's something to take into consideration. Then you also have to remember that sometimes, Skip, guys are victimized, and I don't mean this as a criticism, just fact. Guys are somewhat victimized by you because you have expectations for them based on, in other words, you're not judging Kevin Durant by normal standards.
No.
You're seeing what you saw at the very beginning, and then you put those expectations on them.
That is true.
Because you're taking the skill into consideration, but not this. It's something that you find that out later on, and it's something that developed. Michael Jordan didn't win his first 7 years in the league. You understand? Isaiah Thomas took years.
The roadblocks were more substantial.
I agree with that. I'm just saying to you that even though the roadblocks were more substantial, there were times when Michael Jordan wasn't ready. You can't ignore the fact that Phil Jackson coming in there and convincing Michael to trust other people was ultimately what got them to the championship. Magic didn't have to be convinced of that because of what he had around him. Bird didn't have to be convinced of that.
Nope.
It's what they had around him.
Okay, bottom line to this, can Kevin Durant, as he continues to mature, can he figure out how to push the button that the referees pushed last night? He got mad. He was furious. He uttered an expletive that echoed through the arena. My point is that you have to learn, whatever Michael Jordan could push that button, push it.
Right.
When it's time to push it.
Yeah, but if you're missing shots, you're missing shots. I would indict somebody with his skill set for not taking the shots rather than missing, because if the shot's not falling, Skip, it's not falling. But I'm going to tell you what the ultimate test for Kevin Durant is going to be. If he continues to play this way and do what he does, there's no one that should be able to stop them.
Totally agree.
Other than
You're taking us where we're going.
than LeBron.
All right, listen.
Or a collective.
I like your
Pacers
voice
team.
like this because it's forcing me really to focus in and pay attention. Do you like it like this?
For the first time in a long time, you're actually paying attention to the discussion
I'm just listening
instead of typing, right?
I'm very intently
Thank you.
paying attention instead of saying, Skip, I'm going to.
I have nothing. I have nothing to do with that. Nothing.
He loves us.
ahead.
Meanwhile, let's talk about what